Hey, what's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. This video is on the analytical wizard, the intelligence-based hero, if you like to think of it like that. And I'm going to be explaining 6 different abilities that I feel are really important to understand what introverted thinking is doing, and also it's something that I really appreciate about the class, these 6 abilities. And they're things that I would love to incorporate into my life, my daily routine, my approach to decision making. It's really difficult for me because it's my 8th function as an INFP. Introverted thinking is like the demonic archetype for me, but it has good things with it, and I've come to appreciate it and my struggle with it. So anyway, I'm going to be talking about that in this video, and I'm going to be going through it also with some RPG kind of Dungeons and Dragons type elements so that you can understand it as an ability, as a move, as well as what it's actually doing. So let's just get right started. So if you are an analytical wizard, if you are an ITP, even ETPs, this is your auxiliary function, so it's way up there on the list of priorities, but it takes a little bit more effort to use, I guess, in order to like calm yourself down and be like, okay, I'm gonna switch on to my analytical wizard and think about this problem properly. But that's not something I'm gonna get too far into in this video. Anyway, so if this is your style, if you are an introverted thinker, you logically reason through a system of data points, and you try to eliminate any errors, any false reasoning, false thought. And through doing that, you arrive at the correct response, the correct decision to make. And so a little bit more into the summary of introverted thinking. Introverted thinkers, the analytical wizard, are trying to make technical sense of data points, of the concept, the thought, the item, the decision, whatever it is. It's trying to put all of these puzzle pieces together. The puzzle is already out there, apparently, from what I've heard, and you're trying to piece it together to make the most technical sense of it. How does this thing work? It's detached analysis of it. It's not putting your feelings into it and trying to understand it through the essence of the being and the identity or none of that crap. It's like, what is this thing? I'm going to look at it like a scientist and figure it out. Detached observation of it. And through doing that, analytical wizards really have a lot of precise thought. They put a lot of time into thinking clearly about things, about definitions, names, defining, classifying things. And through doing that, they put the information in the proper categories that it's supposed to be in order to leverage that information to follow the highest priority for decision making. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, I'm going to be going into it now, explaining the 6 different abilities that I feel relate really well to the analytical wizard and introverted thinking. First up, number 1, spell steal. Take magic from another source and internalize it. It's like, I see how you did that. I see what you did there. I understand it now, so I'm going to bring it in, absorb it. It's now my ability, my understanding of this thing. It's like if they're looking at a clock and they take it apart, okay, they understand how it works. That understanding can go with them as this sort of blueprint ghost in order to understand how other similar items work, and it could expand out from there too. So in a game type ability, I was thinking of it as like this monster over here is able to use something simple, fire blast, whatever it is. Okay. And so you can test with your intellect. If you pass the check of the room, it's like 12 difficulty. Okay, you pass that, good job. You can absorb their ability. Now you can use that until you do it again on a different ability. Perhaps. I think you would get like overwhelmed with so much information. Well, maybe not the introverted thinkers, but I certainly would. Ability number 2, mirror image. So this, I feel you could also think of it as something that introverted intuition does, but I like keeping it with introverted thinking. It's creating a replica to experiment with and test. It's kind of like, let's see how this plays out. So you follow this train of logic, and once you get to a certain point, you know, okay, is this something I should pursue even further? Does this make sense? If not, you kind of backtrack and you can deal with it in other ways. You can redefine the thing, put it into a different category to understand it better. So it's, if you were to summon this mirror image, this thing, you're like, well, let's see how it works in this situation. It goes out there, it does something well. Oh, okay, maybe I can use that as something that I'm going to do when I approach the situation next. In my kind of game version of it, it has 1 hit point, but then you have like 4 different other kind of alterations that you can choose from. Like you could give it more hit points, you could let it use one of your abilities, you could have it taunt the enemies, whatever. But that's like way down the game trail right there. Number 3, ability number 3, manipulate time, calm and calculated analysis of a situation. Introverted thinkers, the analytical wizard, has this ability to detach from all this outer nonsense and really center yourself for a second in the middle regions of your brain, and have this theta shield that just protects you from any emotional response. And I find that amazing. And so I wanted to put that in there, and I feel that it could kind of be related to this manipulate time ability. So if you were to make this an ability, I feel that with an intellect check, you can double or half any timers that are present. So if you got a buff that's going to last for 2 rounds, double it, okay, it lasts for 4. If it's a debuff, then you shorten the time. Just kind of a gamified version of it, but really that calm, cool, collected, detached, thinking through the situation properly before you actually act on it saves you a lot of time instead of just rushing into the situation. Ability number 4, identify. This had to be in there, right? Identify, name, define, classify a person or a thing, whatever it is. Just give it a name, define it, identify it, classify it, put it in its correct spot. Really understand what this thing is, to the highest level that you can. And I feel that this is like them saying, you don't understand how badly I need to understand this thing, how badly I need to know what this is. I need to know the etymology of this. I need to understand how these pieces fit together. There's this compulsion, this huge drive, this pull or push, I don't know, that is really getting analytical wizards to fully investigate something. It's a simple identify spell, but if you do that, you identify an item or a person or a thing, you get the specifics of it, and then your effort against that, it could be attack damage, it could be effort to open the treasure chest or whatever it is doubled. Or maybe just a little bit better. I don't know, doubled sounds like a lot. Anyway, that's what I put, doubled. And then from there, brilliance. So it's important for TI types to understand how things work. Not everybody really cares how things work, but TI types definitely are just like, I really want to understand this. I need to know how this works. And through doing that, it's like engage brain before opening mouth. Like, let's think about the situation. Let's understand it logically, precisely, accurately, clearly, and then we'll take the actions to do that. And I felt brilliance was a nice name, a kind of fitting one with the intelligence-based hero, right? So it's kind of like giving +3 intellect to all allies until they miss an attempt. So like your team is going to be strong until that one guy misses, and then you can maybe do the buff again or whatever it is. So it's a nice little buff right there. And the last one, blast. Shoot a concentrated magic missile at a target. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it feels more accurate into what introverted thinking is doing by giving radical honesty. Like saying, you are not doing this correctly. I'm going to help you with it. I'm going to teach you how to do this. You're not actually wearing clothes. You're wearing nothing. Okay, King, I'm going to tell you that because you need to know this. That's kind of this just blast of like the FE, what is socially expected and all that stuff that needs to be put aside right now because I need to speak the truth. Because if I don't speak the truth, I'm going to have all this cognitive dissonance and bad things are going to happen inside and outside, and it's just not right. So I'm going to blast you with this magical information. And it's this logical and clear, precise explanation of things. And so in a game type ability, and I already explained it a little bit, but with an intellect attempt on a target in sight, you do magic effort +2 or +3, whatever it could be. So those are the 6 abilities. I hope that this video was interesting. I like introverted thinking. I struggle with it, but it is always something I'm trying to do. As you can tell, like I'm trying to piece all of this information together because as my alternate introverted judging function, introverted thinking is trying to give me the precise labels and categories and ways to define all this information and make sure that it fits within this puzzle of RPGs and cognitive functions and psychology and philosophy and all this stuff, right? And so it's a constant struggle, but it is something that I'm always trying to incorporate, right? So I really appreciate what you all bring to the world, all that beautiful, beautiful logic and clear thinking. I have several, I have an INTP friend and a couple ENTP friends, and it's mind-boggling what you guys can do with your brain. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Keep up the lifelong questing. Thank you very much, patrons, as well. Good luck, have fun. Peace.